Welcome everybody to another tutorial on Arturia iSEM. Today I would like to go through the features of the synth which you find on the main page over here. So first of all, let's click load, then let's click on the templates, then template, and then let's start with this init voice 1 sawtooth way preset. And let's click assign. So if we click on the keyboard, you will hear just one oscillator which is playing a sawtooth waveform. iSEM has 3 oscillators, 3 VCO, voltage control oscillator. The first one, the control for the first one is here, this is the second one, and this is the third one. As you can see at the moment, it is set for sawtooth, but you can also move to a pulse waveform. If you move the dial right in the middle, you will also see a little tick when it moves for 0. And in this case, we don't have any VCO running. So in a similar fashion, you can act on the second VCO, pulse in this case. And for the third VCO, you have the possibility to act as a sub oscillator or as noise. So sub oscillator, of which the settings are here, or as noise. Of course, if it is running as a sub oscillator, here you have the settings, and here you have the waveform. So your sawtooth, your sine wave, and also your square wave or pulse. And here you can set the pulse width, and there you can set the octave that is playing. Okay, let's go back to have just the first oscillator or VCO, and let's set it to pulse. And let's leave let's move to 0 the third oscillator. So here you have this the section where you can act on the first VCO, and this is the second VCO. Between the two there is a sync button. If it is on, the frequency of the second VCO will follow the frequency of the first VCO. So you can change the frequency. Then we can set it to change the the pulse width, if applicable, or have modulate the frequency. The modulation comes from here, and it can be set to be modulated by the envelope 1, LFO1 or LFO2. At the bottom here you have the pulse width, in which you can variate between change between 10% to 90%. So if it is set to pulse at the moment, so it will listen to variation on the pulse width. It is set to be modulated by LFO1. Here we have LFO1, and you can change the settings of LFO1, the rate here. Okay. Alternatively, you can set the modulation source to be the envelope 1, like in this case here, And the setting for the envelope 1 are here. Here you have the attack, the decay, and the sustain. So let's try. Let's give a little bit of attack. Let's increase to 3/4 the decay, and let's remove the sustain. Okay, perfect. And here you find the section for the VCF. By the way, I forgot to say that the section here for the VCO2 is exactly the same as the VCO1, so you can apply the same settings on the second VCO. So moving on to the voltage control frequency. So here we have the standard cutoff and resonance. Here you can set the modulation being positive or negative, and the source for the modulation alpha 1, 2, and envelope 2. Here you find envelope 2 with the attack, decay, and sustain. Let's set it as envelope 1. Here on the notch, you can change the type of filter, low pass filter, high pass filter, or a band pass filter. Now, you have a sync switch here below the LFO1. This sync switch allows the LFO1 to be triggered, for example, from an interrupt application in iOS or through WIST, which we have seen on the first video as a feature. Now, let's add a little bit of delay. Actually, first let's add a bit of chorus. You can hear straight away the difference. You can make it more wet or dry. Let's add a bit of delay as well. Not too much, so a little bit drier. Okay, perfect. Now, the next thing I want to show you here is the portamento. So if you set it to on, and then you can act on the intensity of the portamento. You can hear straight away the difference, but let's set this off for now. You can add a bit of overdrive. Of course, this depends on the settings. You can start to hear a bit of a difference. You can set the output level. You have some distortion there, so let's decrease it. And here you have the ability to add a bit of warmth, a bit of distortion in terms of a soft clip, and if done at the right point in the wave or in the synthesis of the sound, it will produce a little bit of warmth, that analog warmth that probably you're looking for. Next, I want to show you the arpeggiator, so we can turn it on here. Let's make this delay drier. Actually, let's turn it off. Let's decrease the rate. We can set it to hold. We can play a chord. In this case, it's going up because it's set to go up, but you can have also going down and up, and also random. And here you can set the octaves that it will extend the range, producing the notes through the arpeggiator. So it was going to go up to 2 octaves, 3 octaves, or 4 octaves. So let's try with 2. This of course is random, so let's go down and up. Okay. If you double click on a control, you can do some fine frequency adjustment. So activated the delay again. Let's add a bit of attack, a little bit more decay. Let's bring in the pulsation, the width of the pulse to where it was. Let's decrease the amount of modulation on the pulse width. Let's activate now the second VCO, but as a pulse. Let's activate a bit of a pulse width modulations, the same from the LF1. And let's change slightly, double click, and let's change the frequency a little bit up for VCO2. Let's go up by 3 octave. Let's click on the over high icon and let's go up by an octave on the keyboard. Let's change the, let's add the sub oscillator, but as a sine wave. Let's go up an octave. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for this video for part 2. I hope you enjoyed learning how to use the different settings of the Arturia iSEM synthesizer, and I'll see you next time. Bye.